Guys, the PS5 comes out this Thursday. I cannot wait. I have called my GameStop multiple times. They probably think I'm crazy. I have confirmed that I can come 10 a.m. on Thursday to pick up my PlayStation 5 digital edition. I cannot wait. I'm super excited about it. But before we get to that point, there is a few things I want to talk about involving PS5. And one of the big ones is that the PS Plus collection, I feel like, isn't being talked about a lot. And the overall value that you will get day one on the console without even buying a game yet is absolutely incredible. So what is going on, guys? It is your boy TKD. Wanted to hear back your PlayStation source, and let's talk about the PlayStation Plus collection and how it adds a lot of benefit to the day one buyer of PS5 without dropping a dime on a game. So of course, there is no way that you get the majority of these games without a PS Plus subscription, of course, which will cost you $60 for a annual one, and I think it's like 10 or 15 bucks monthly. I pay annually, so I'm not sure what it is monthly, but let's just call that the cost of one game, of course, you know what I'm saying? And like, honestly, it's less than the cost of one game on PS5 technically, since those games are now $70, but I digress. $60 will get you this day one, and most likely you probably have PS Plus. Most likely. If you don't, I understand. I know people don't, but most likely you probably do. So let's look at the value proposition of PlayStation Plus day one on the PS5 with the PS Plus collection. So we have 24 games to go over. One I'll just throw out there first is Astro's Playroom. It is going to be a pack-in game for the PS5. It comes with your PS5 when you pick it up, already pre-installed on it. A lot of people have been saying really good things about it. On Metacritic, it is a 82 right now, so that is where it kind of all ends up. And yeah, you know, people might argue, hey, you know, it's not a full game. I get it. I just figured, you know, I'll just throw it in there too, because it is a lengthy experience of like 2.5, 3 hours, you know what I'm saying? Some people have been saying 4, but I think that it's nonetheless deserving here, because it's not like it's like a 10-minute type thing. There's substance there with Astro's Playroom, and it is free on day one with your PS5. So I figured I'd throw it in there. But let's go in to the PS Plus games for the month of November. So we have the first game here, Bugsnax, which did get a 79, and you can check out my review on Bugsnax that I posted on Monday. Make sure to go check that out. I'll put a card over here as well. And overall, I think Bugsnax is a great game. Definitely enjoyed it. Definitely overall has a lot of fun value to it. And, you know, even though it's not the deepest game like a Uncharted 4 or like a God of War on here or like a Final Fantasy 15, it is still fun to be had on Bugsnax that I think is worth your time. And it will be free for PS Plus for the month of November for 2 months. So you can check out that. The next one here is Middle of Earth Shadow of War, garnering an 80 on Metacritic. I've heard a lot of good things about this game and this series. Haven't tried it out myself, but a lot of people seem to like it nonetheless. Next up here, Hollow Knight Void Heart Edition. This game I have on Switch, just the OG Hollow Knight, and you know, I didn't love it, but it did garner an 85. A lot of people like it, so if you want, you can check it out for the month of November. Now, Middle Earth Shadow of War and Hollow Knight Void Heart Edition are both available for, I think, just a month. Bugsnax is available for 2 months on PS5. Next up here, let's go over the PlayStation Plus collection, the main meat of this video, because there is a lot of good stuff on here that you will get for free with your PS Plus subscription on PS5 on day one, like I said before. So let's start off here with the third-party games. You'll be getting Batman Arkham Knight. Come on, guys, it's Batman Arkham Knight. Are you serious right now? I loved it. A lot of people talk trash about the Batmobile. Honestly, I didn't find the Batmobile that bad. I'm gonna say it. I didn't think it was that bad, honestly, but a lot of people hate it. I didn't think it was that bad. Nonetheless, it still was able to garner an 87 on Metacritic, a great score, and an overall great package. I love the game. Great stuff. And a lesser so that I didn't like that much was Battlefield 1. I'm gonna keep it honest. I tried it once at a friend's house, like when it came out. I think it was 2 years ago or something like that. I didn't love Battlefield 1. You know, that was weird. The naming is weird, all that great stuff. But I digress. I did get an 89 on Metacritic. So if you want some Battlefield action on day one on PS5, looks like you'll be able to get that with Battlefield 1. Next up here, something that I like a lot more is Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Zombies Chronicles Edition. So this will include the full game of Black Ops 3, as well as the Zombies Chronicles, which was a DLC that was released after the game launched. I think it was like a year after or something like that. It was like the 5th DLC pack pack, which never happens in Call of Duty, but it has all of the, I mean, not all, but like a huge amount of iconic zombies maps. There's 8 remastered, remade zombies maps that from the likes of Kino, from the likes of Ascension. Like, it's a great Zombies Chronicles package. It's great if you're a Zombies fan. I'm really glad that it's included in the PlayStation Plus collection. Now, the one thing here to note is that Black Ops 3 by itself got an 81, but Zombies Chronicles separately got a 78. So what I did here was I did some math and I found the average of those two. So I'm gonna call Black Ops 3 Zombies Chronicles Edition at a 79.5 on Metacritic. Technically, that's not on Metacritic. It's just I just averaged the scores of both of those separately, and I got 79.5. So that's what we will say for that score. Next up here, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. If you guys are fans of the channel, you know I just played this on a stream series. It was a great time, loved it. Includes Crash 1, 2, and 3, all for a package in itself in the trilogy. Great time. It was 80 on Metacritic. Honestly, it's well worth it. Definitely enjoyed it. And if you're looking to play Crash 4, you can get, you know, prepped up right here for free on Crash Insane Trilogy with the collection, and then buy Crash 4 for your PS5 later on. Next up here, Fallout 4. I know a lot of people talk about Bethesda games that they don't run as well. I know a lot of people also said that Fallout 4 was kind of like just a better Fallout 3, nothing really crazy to write home about with Fallout 4. But you know, this is of course also noteworthy that now Microsoft owns Bethesda, so that's really interesting how we now have technically a Microsoft game in the PS Plus collection. But I digress. I was able to get an 87, so pretty good score right there, you know. You gotta tip the hat to old Fallout 4. Next up here, a game that I'm really probably gonna play, honestly, is Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition. So this was one of the games that was going to be just Final Fantasy 15, but then did get upgraded to the Royal Edition. It garnered a 77 on Metacritic. A lot of people seem to like it a lot, you know. I don't think it's regarded as like one of like the best or like one of like the crazy, you know, really good Final Fantasies, but a lot of people like Final Fantasy 15, so I'm definitely inclined to try it. You all know my journey with Remake. I loved 7 Remake, so I definitely want to have a, you know, long-term RPG to play, and I think it might be Final Fantasy 15 after I finish Assassin's Creed Valhalla, of course. But next up here, Monster Hunter World is at a 90. Monster Hunter World took the world by storm, no pun intended, even though, you know what, pun intended, why not? You know, took the world by storm. Monster Hunter World, no, okay, all right, 90 on Metacritic. A lot of people loved it, big fan of it. Not me personally. I only tried like an hour of it one time and didn't really catch me that much, but I know Christian Buckley of DoorClicks loved Monster Hunter World, so I trust his word, and this game should be pretty good on paper, and with a 90, it should be pretty good. Next up here, Mortal Kombat 10. Now, I think I played this one, oddly enough, I think I played this one on, wait, no I didn't, did I? I'm not sure. I know I played a Mortal Kombat on Vita. That was the last Mortal Kombat I played, so pretty cool to have a fighting game at least here. You know, it's been a long time since I played a fighting game. I really want to play Injustice though at some point, but good to see that, hey, you know, it's here if you want it. 83 on Metacritic, nothing to write home about, but pretty good right there with that Metacritic score. And the big one here that a lot of people love, I know a lot of people want me to play this game, Persona 5. Now I know this one is a little bit interesting because I know Persona 5 Persona 5 Royal, I think it was called, came out I think this year or recently, and a lot of people say just play that one and not play base Persona 5, but the base Persona 5 did get a 93 on Metacritic. A lot of people love Persona 5, of course. Y'all have heard probably 1,000 people talk about it at once, so you know, I won't go any further, but hey, you know, I'm at least interested. Don't know if I'll ever play it, but at least interested. And last one here, I just beat this on the stream series for the month of October, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. I had a blast with it. I thought it was a great time. 86 on Metacritic. I think it deserves a higher score, honestly. I thought it was fantastic. Let's go into the first party offerings. Next up here, going into the first part, we have something to talk about involving how these games have changed, and we'll be taking use of the PS5's boost mode, which was similar to the PS4 Pro's boost mode, and it did say on the blog that all of these games will be taking advantage of it. There's a lot of them that they haven't said what those exactly are, but a few of them on the first party, their devs have came out and said what is going to be changed with the PS5 boost mode versions of these games. So we'll go over those with with game by game as we continue. But going on the first party, we have the infamous, the famous, don't tell me to play it, I know, don't tell me to play it, Bloodborne, alright? There is no PS5 upgrade at this point yet. I know a lot of people want 60 frames for Bloodborne, and I feel like you guys will get it eventually, right? Because Sekiro has a patch for 60 frames on PS5, so it's really weird that Bloodborne wouldn't. But I digress. As a 92 on Metacritic, you know, Bloodborne's famous. Everyone loves Bloodborne. Let's just move on, okay? Like, Bloodborne's fantastic. Next up here, which this one gets interesting. Days Gone is going to have a now dynamic 4K 60 resolution with 60 frames per second, which before it was checkerboard 4K and it was locked at 30 frames a second on PS4 Pro. So it will be getting a very substantial boost in quality of the game, and I think that that's going to help it a lot. Like, I'm really happy that this game is getting a huge bolstering of the way the game runs, and I think that a lot of people will now give it a shot that didn't, you know, back on PS4. And it did get a 71, you know, it is what it is. Y'all know I have to talk about Days Gone. I think that Days Gone is the perfect 80 game that you could have. And so it's cool that it is now getting a better version on PS5. Let's keep it going here. We have Detroit Become Human. 78 on Metacritic. I loved Detroit Become Human. If you like those type of story, you know, games that require choices and all that, Detroit Become Human is a great option for you, and it's stunningly beautiful. Like, at least on PS4 Pro, so it has to be better on PS5, right? Next up here, the critical darling of the PS4 generation, of course, God of War is coming to the PlayStation Plus collection, and it did get a 94 on Metacritic. I think I don't have to say anything else about God of War. Y'all know how good it is, and it did have a performance mode now on PS5 that will run at 60 frames per second, where before on PS4 Pro it hovered around 45 frames per second on PS4 Pro. So we are getting more of a better frame rate on the performance mode on God of War. I can't wait to see how that runs. I'm really excited to see how that runs, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just, you know, that's 15 frames, but that can mean a lot in terms of how the game feels overall. Like, that's nothing to slouch out about, you know, even though it's 15 frames on paper. But next up here, Infamous Second Son. There seems to be no updates to this game. A very early gen PS4 game, but still looks great. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know my history with Infamous. I love it. Second Son wasn't the best, garnering an 80 on Metacritic. So I think, hey, you know what? It's cool that it's here. You know, I think it would have been really cool to have First Light as well, but I digress. Infamous Second Son, cool to have it here. Next up here, this next one makes a whole lot of sense because we have the sequel to this game already being in the PS5 rotation for next year. We have Ratchet and Clank, and this is going to be the 2016 version of the game, or 2015. I forgot what year it came out, but it did get an 85 on Metacritic. Ratchet and Clank is great, especially this version. I loved it a lot. I thought it was really cool, really fun, and definitely stick around the channel for after we finish the Miles Morales stream series, because Ratchet and Clank stream series is coming to PlayStation Source. Next up here, we have The Last Guardian. So this is a very weird one that happened here. So over the weekend, it came to light that The Last Guardian runs at 60 frames on PS5, but it is when you're using the disc version of the game with no patches or updates. However, the downloaded version, which you can't have a downloaded game without having the latest patches and updates and all that, only ran at 30 frames capped. So I think this is an error. I think they will fix this when it launches. Who knows? I think that's a really weird oversight that the unpatched disc version runs at 60, but not the normal downloaded version and not the up-to-date version of the game. I think that's really weird. I think that will get tweaked and fixed, but who knows? Last Guardian did get an 82. I have yet to play it, so there it is if you want to try it out on PS5. Next up here, Last of Us Remastered got a 95, of course. Come on, it's Last of Us. What else can I say, right? Last of Us Remastered was patched, though, on PS4, which was allegedly for the PS5 boost mode, and it will and did cut load times on PS4 by 70%. They went from a minute 30 to only 14 seconds for the initial load of the game. So if it's going 14 seconds on PS4 on a hard drive, imagine it on an SSD on PS5. This game is really optimized for it. It's gonna be great. I can't wait to see how fast it loads on PS5. Next up here we have Until Dawn getting a 79 on Metacritic, and it said that it also got a PS4 patch that is supposed to be for PS5 boost mode. I didn't see any numbers out there in the wild. Maybe there are. I just, you know, kind of just looked around and didn't see anything crazy about it. So of course there was some type of enhancement for PS5. I just don't know what those exactly are. And the last here we have Uncharted 4: A Thief's End, one of my favorite games on PS4. It got a 93 on Metacritic, and there seems to be no patches as of yet. None with Uncharted 4 or with Last of Us Part 2. I'm very interested to see why those are kind of late for the patches for PS5, but I digress. I'm sure we will see what happens in the coming weeks and months with those two games on PS5. So I did want to total all of the Metacritic scores to give you guys kind of like a overall kind of sum of how these games rated overall, looking at the total score, right? So when you add up all these scores, you get 2,076.5, right? But the more important thing is to average that score out. So when you average out 2,076.5 and you divide it by 24, the amount of games that we just looked at here and went over, you get 86.5 for the overall value of PlayStation Plus and the PlayStation Plus collection on day one on PS5 before you even purchase a new game. That is the value that I'm trying to bring up to you guys. I think this is insane. I think this is a really, really cool value that I think a lot of people aren't really even looking at. Like, this is insane. Like, guys, we get all of this day one with just your PlayStation Plus subscription. Enough said. You know what I'm saying? It is fantastic. Hope you guys pick out a game to play here because this is an incredible value. But that is all I got to say here, guys. Let me know what you guys in the comments below. What are you guys going to play on this list? Are you going to, you know, not play any of these? Are you saving these for a later day? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and make sure also while you are down there to check out our description where you can find links to our Discord, our Twitter, as well as our Anchor link. That way you can listen to long form content in podcast format. Those of course being Road to PS5 and Road to Miles Morales, where we will both do impressions of both of those items, of course PS5 and Miles Morales, over the weekend. Very, very hyped for that. And make sure also, if you deem us worthy, to hit that join button or the link in the description to become a member of the channel. You can be a Prince tier for $1 and a King tier for $5 and get access to different channel badges and emotes, as well as shout outs and all PSS content, just like the homies Caleb Kaiser, Arachnite, Chungi, Tapiwa Musa, and the homie Owen. Much love to you guys. Definitely appreciate all the members of the channel. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like on it, as well as hit subscribe to PlayStation Store to keep up with the latest and greatest in all PlayStation and PS5 specifically. Thank you all for watching, and as always, greatness awaits.